Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. Come on in the room. I can't remember this. Hello, hello. We getting everybody in the room, getting everybody in the room. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. Sorry about that, Miss Glover. You know, Zoom get a little tricky on a brother. Caesar. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you. I was on mute, but I said no problem with the
Good,
problem.
good, good, good. I just want to make sure you can hear me.
Yeah.
And then Tiffany will be on her way in just a second.
Okay.
We'll be
All
ready
right.
to go. Until then,
All
while
right.
she's on the way, man, you know, it's been a minute. It's been a long minute since we've been to full
Yep.
180 convo, man. But we're back. I
All
do
right.
apologize for the hiatus. I know I was sick, like like real sick. I ain't never been that sick before in my life, but I was sick. So,
Hmm.
but no. Other than that, man, thank the Lord above. I am good. We're back. We're here, and we gotta give you what the people want. And
Amen.
that's what they want is the full 180 convo, man. I've heard so many things about, hey, why y'all not been on? Where y'all been at? I apologize. You know what I'm saying? We had to take a step back, make sure people got well. And we have two out tonight. Miss Christine, Lucky Roy, and of course Dr. B are out for tonight. However, we got another but DJ Legend in the building, and I do believe KC is still will be on the way. Hope you had a good week. Hope you went out there to vote. Tell me you voted. I need to know if you early voted, man. These primary elections, these local elections matter. So don't think it's just all about the presidency. You gotta get these local elections done too. So I hope you went out there and voted. Voted early. If not, I do think you still have time. So make sure you use your right to vote. With that being said, it's a Monday. So motivation Monday. My motivation to you is don't quit. I know today was kind of hard. Today might not have been as simple as you would like it, but today I'm going to tell you don't quit. Lay down. Tomorrow is tomorrow. So whatever didn't happen tomorrow, then what you wake up tomorrow, I just want you to do better. That's what you do. Don't quit. And then tomorrow morning, learn from the mistakes you did that happened today and do better tomorrow. That's going to be Motivation Monday, man. Don't forget, we do have the actual Juneteenth celebration coming up soon, June 19th. Man, we have a lot in store for you. I've got in contact with some musical artists, some comedians. We're going to have a good time. We need the audience to be there because we're going to get you into the conversation. Don't forget, we're using the hashtag Your Black Role Matters. That's right. We're going to discuss what your black role is. What in meaning in that is there's nothing too small. All our black roles matter. So we need to find out why we're not using them. How can we use them? How can we do better within our black roles? And we're going to talk about that Juneteenth. We're going to celebrate us being African American in this country. Sometimes people say it's hard. I say, sometimes it's the luck of the draw, especially with things that are going on nowadays. So we want to celebrate us. So we want you to come out. Juneteenth, everything starts at 10 o'clock, the parade. Shout out to Mr. Elite News, Mr. Darrell Blair for allowing us to be a part. We have a big show planned for you. There's plethora of people that will be on the stage with us. I'll definitely give you a time frame when we're there, but I know everything starts at 10 and ends at 8. Of course, my big brother will be out there holding it down in the Beauty, Health, and Wellness Expo on the ones and twos. So will I. And Casey Estelle will be doing her show. Hey, ladies out there. So, hey, man, make sure you check in with that. Every Saturday at about 11 a.m., these ladies are getting deep. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't pulling no strings either. They letting you have it. So, it is what it is. I have a chance just to watch it. And as you see in the background, my brother does have something coming up. Come celebrate your business with us. DJ Legend, they're doing the 70s, 80s, and 90s party, brother. I'm reading it from the back of you.
My bad.
We'll have more detail about that. Admission is free. Bring your business cards. What time does it start, big bro?
It started at 7. It'll be from 7 to 11.
7 to 11, man. Make sure you come out there and bring your business cards. Come check out Big Bro out there. Hanging out on the ones and twos. And don't forget, Casey Estelle is live with Hey Ladies at 11 a.m. every Saturday morning. Just ladies, their coffee cup, their tea, whatever it is, and they sipping and telling some tea. Just get raw and uncut. So make sure you gene in. However, we're going to get right to it. I got my lady, my auntie in the building. You call her your nanny. We call her the auntie. Our financial advisor. The lady's going to get you from health to some wealth. Get you up to Japan with her. None other than Miss Rochelle Glover. Hey, Miss Glover.
Hey, Miss Glover.
Hey, Miss Glover.
How you doing?
I'm wonderful. I just wrote a note to sign in Saturday at 11. I have got to get with you ladies. That sounds so awesome.
Oh, we have a good time.
Okay. Then I've got to make it my business.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
And I believe you would definitely be addition to add, what you do to as far as finances go,
and
I know you educate us.
You have a lot you got to get into. So, it's time for me to just be fed.
Yes,
absolutely.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
And just so y'all know, she will be at the Juneteenth celebration. I'm going to have her a place where she can do 15-minute classes. I know it's going to be a little loud out there because we're going to have sound, so I'm going to find her somewhere. But if we can get her, she will be a guest on our stage when we do our show, of course. And then we're going to try to format a way that she can do 15-minute classes. You don't want to miss these 15 minutes. You can get some real nuggets and knowledge in 15 minutes. But right now, you're going to get these 15 minutes. You're going to get 15 minutes in an hour. Because we're going to talk about the C word. And I mean collection. Man, if they call me one more time, talking about I need, I want, I ain't got it. It's the pandemic. What am I supposed to do, Miss Glover? Talk to them, aunties.
And I wanted to talk about tonight, guys, what can they say to you? Because quite often we are stressing out about stuff that's even illegal. They can't even say
Come
that,
on.
they can't do it, and they're just trying to get your goat and they are doing it. So once you know that they can and that they're just talking crap, you'll feel better about the conversation. So I wanted to start off by asking you guys 4 questions. And if you listen to this later, I want you to answer them also. So the first question is number 1. Have you ever told off a collector? Yes, or no? Okay. And you just write that down or put it in your head. Number
Got
2,
it.
have you ever cussed out a bill collector?
Some of
Okay.
y'all need to raise up 2 hands.
Number 3, have you ever hung up on a bill collector?
Today.
All the
And,
time.
and number 4, have you ever said, I am not home to a bill
Nah,
collector?
nah, I answered the
He's
phone.
not at
Oh,
home. He's
no,
not at home.
I
Bye.
they don't
Okay.
live here no more.
He moved. Okay. And so if you can answer, either one of these 4 questions, I hopefully have some information for you to help you have a smoother conversation with these bill collectors or get what you need to get out of the conversation. When I was training bill collectors, I used to say to them, why are you tripping out? Chill out. You're taking this too personal. You're just doing your job. And now that I'm on the other side of the fence and I'm coaching people on how to talk to bill collectors, I'm saying the same thing. Why are you tripping out? They don't know you. Don't take it personal. They're just doing their job.
Indeed.
And I say this all the time,
Mhm.
guys. They can't beat you, they can't kill you, they can't eat you. But you have got to know what your rights are. So we're going to talk about those tonight. Number 1, what can they say to you? Now, the first
Mm.
thing you got to know is when they call you, they are only allowed to leave their name and number. I hear that third party collection agencies may say to you, or say to your kid, tell your mother to call me. A lady called me and said they told her daughter, tell your mother she won't be driving to work. She needs to bring us our car. Isn't that
Mm,
crazy?
Oh
Wow.
wow.
Isn't that heavy? You can't.
that's real.
The only thing that they can say to a person who answers the phone is that this is Rochelle. Have her call me at 9632, whatever, whatever. And then if the person asks, why are you calling? By law, they are not allowed to say it. So if you
Mm.
come home and somebody giving you a lot of 411 on a phone call that you got from a collector, that is illegal.
Okay.
Okay.
References. When you make out an application, they ask you for 3 references. They have a right to call your references,
Mm.
but they don't have a right to tell them why. And I hear that they will give your references all the information. I'm trying to find Rochelle. She owes us a bill. Do you have a phone number? They'll either go that way or they'll go the way to act like they're a friend so that they
Mm.
get information. You kind of hear what I'm saying? And so, but the reality of it is that they can't do either one of those. They can't say, hey, this is Jackie. I'm trying to get in touch with Roach. People call Roach. You got her number. Punky. You're not my friend. And quite often they will get your phone number from your reference from just pretending like they know you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So when you put that people down for references, and especially if you let them know, if somebody calls for me, don't give them any information. Real talk, because they can get a lot from your references. Another
Mm-hmm.
thing they can't do, they can't call your job and tell them any information. And the things that I'm telling you guys, the stuff that people are telling me that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
that somebody called their job, asked for her, and then
Mm.
told her, I'm calling about a bill. She needs to call us. And you can't say that to a coworker. Are you kidding me? And
Wow.
especially if they work at like bakeries or something that's kind of personal where you know everybody. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be careful and you got to know what you know, because once they know, they'll stop doing it. So for
Mm.
those who are listening now or later, I want you to write down FDCPA.
CPA.
FDCPA.
Okay.
That stands for the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Anybody in collections, any bill collector knows what that stands for. And
Yeah.
once you say, according to the FDCPA, you can't ABCD, they'll know you know a little bit and they'll chill out.
Hmm.
I tell people all the time, don't fight fire with fire. If they're tripping out, you have an option. What's your option? You can hang up. And we tell bill collectors all the time, once a person hangs up on you, you lost because you didn't get any money. All you got was a dial tone. And you guys are probably too young, but I can remember when, hard phones, where we used to go way back and slam a phone down. Bam!
Way,
Yeah.
way
Okay?
Your
back.
mama's kitchen phone and the kitchen phone.
Absolutely.
The one with the long cord. Yeah, that's
Phone
it.
cord could go everywhere, all over
Yeah,
the house.
that's
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
So we used to practice hanging up a phone, but now it's just click. So you don't have to get upset. You don't have to get upset about people calling you because, and I'm going to quote a scripture in 37:8. It says, "Don't get angry or get furious because it only leads to sin." Because once you have a altercation with the bill collector, you kind of off all the rest of the day. You ever got pissed off about something and then you mad every time you think about it all day long? So you
Oh
don't
man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense? So you can't give them that power because at the end of the day, what they're going to do, and you've got to tell them, okay, if you don't have the money, you don't have the money. So you've got to know what they can do. Another thing they can't do, they can't threaten you. They can't tell you that I'm coming to pick up your car because you owe for a credit card. I've heard crazy stuff like that. You owe for a credit card, so we'll pick up any assets. What does that mean? What are they saying to you? They're just trying to make it sound all legal. No, they can't
Yeah,
do
trying
that.
to scare you.
Exactly. They're trying to scare you. They can't threaten your job. We'll call your job and get you in trouble. I've heard all that kind of stuff. They can't do anything. And so, just to put a summary on that, they really can only ask you if they're calling for you, give their phone number and say, please have her call me at whatever time. They can ask what's the best time to call, but that's it. Now, in terms of
Hmm.
calling you all the time, I get people calling me all the time. Rochelle, they keep calling me, they're harassing me. I'm gonna sue them for harassment. For calling you, you can't. And here's the catch to calling you. If a bill collector calls you in the morning and you
Mm-hmm.
say Rochelle isn't here, or I'll take a message, they can't call you anymore that day. They can only
Mm.
have one live contact a day. Now, if you let the phone ring or you look at that phone and say, I'm not answering this, they can call you until your phone melts. That was right.
And they do.
Yeah, okay. And they will call you all day long, back to back. Because why? They got technology. They have a computer that's just running your phone number over and over.
Right.
And are they running your phone number? They're running your phone number through different phone numbers. Because you see that
Okay.
if my
Man.
area code, my husband's area code is 813. We used to live in Florida. He gets calls from people selling him stuff from 813 because they can get an area code that matches your area code so that it'll look familiar to you.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, exactly. And so the reality of it is that pick it up. One of them, I'm not here, or don't call me because you have a right to say cease and desist, which is the legal jargon for do not call me anymore. And if you tell a bill collector, don't call me anymore, they're going to ask you to put it in writing. If you put it in writing, they're going to say, okay, and they'll hold your account out for 10 days. They won't call you.
Mhm.
But after 10 days, they're looking for the letter in their system, or they're going to put your phone number back on the computer to redial. But the problem with saying do not call means that you lose your power. And I'm going to give you an example. I used to
Okay.
work for an organization that if you said do not call and we collected on cards, we could put your car out immediately for repo because we can't contact you anymore.
Oh wow.
Oh,
So
wow.
you need to have that communication. Remember, they can't kill you, can't beat you, can't eat you. So
Mm.
you want to have that communication, that conversation, so you can figure out how to keep your car, how to pay this credit card, whatever. And then talk to me like a lady, and I'll talk to you like a lady. Talk to me man to man, whatever, like adults. And
Right.
so that's some of the things that will help you with that. Now, any questions before I move on? Anything, you guys?
No,
So
this is helpful.
go
Okay.
ahead.
No, I was saying this is helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. And the thing is that we have got to let people know because we're stressing out about the fact that we hung up And now we don't know what's about to happen.
Right.
Because
Right.
now the communication is cut. And they're telling you, look, you either pay us or else A, B, and C. And the reality of it is that you don't know what A, B, and C is. So it's
No.
going to be very important that you keep the communication up. So, as an example, they call you about a credit card. Look, Rochelle, Mrs. Glover, you owe $2,000. You're past due $250. Can you pay us today? That's what they say. No, I can't.
Yeah.
So tell us what's going on. I lost my job. I don't have the money. So when will you have it? I'm not sure. When I get a job, I'll pay you. You know, that's how it goes. But I can keep talking to you about it all day because if I don't have it, I don't have
Don't
it.
have it. Mhm.
Right.
Have it,
Right.
I don't have it. Most people who want to get all crazy and act like they want to fight over the phone is people who want to protect the assets that they do have because I do have it. And if you have it, you are stealing. I'm gonna put it just
Mm.
like that, straight up. The Bible says a man that borroweth and payeth not is a sinner, which means that if you have it, check this out. If you go to somebody and say, "Give me some money,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll give it back to you,"
Mm-hmm.
and you don't give it back, you stole it. If you have it, that's the
Hmm.
catch. Now, if you say, "Give me some money, and I'll give it back to you," and you don't have it, you don't have it.
Right.
And hey, the Bible says you don't have to pay that back either. Deuteronomy 15:1 says every 7 years, and you don't have it, you are free from that debt. So don't worry about it. It's really for the people who I got the money, but I choose to do something else with it. So if you don't have it, they're gonna ask you a question, guys. They're gonna ask you, okay, you saying you can't pay us. You don't have money. What money do you have coming in? You can tell them because you don't have enough. What are you paying? I'm paying my rent. I got my car note. I got some gas. I got to buy some food. And
Mm-hmm.
after that, I have no money left. I can't pay you. And I promise you, 9 times out of 10, they're going to put your account out for later, or they may not even call again, depending on the balance, because bill collectors want to focus on people who can pay because they
Okay.
Mm.
want a pretty good commission on collecting on debts. If you ain't got no money, you're
Oh,
wasting time.
Okay.
But you got to prove that you don't have the money. And so when they start asking you some questions, none of your business, man. No, no, bring it down, pumpkin. Because their job is to ask you the question so I can get you out of my queue and get somebody else who's going to pay me.
Right.
Does that
Mm.
make sense?
makes
So let me ask
sense.
you this: with the pandemic going on, I think that's, or should I say, I guess a worldwide pandemic. With that going on, do you see creditors or even collection agencies being a little more partial because
Oh, yeah.
people are actually losing their jobs, like really really losing their jobs?
Mhm, mhm, mhm. And they're making all kind of exceptions to that too, because even with your credit card right now, and a lot of people don't know, you call and say, "I can't pay it. I lost my job because of the COVID or the pandemic," and you
Mm,
prove that, they will set out your payment, your monthly payments for 3, 4 months, whatever it takes, quite often.
Mm.
And so
okay.
what that does is protect your credit report, because on your credit report, instead of saying you're past due, it's going to say NA for that month. It's going to say not applicable, and it
Right.
will not hurt your credit. I will tell you, I tried it with your mortgage and your apartment. I think the moratorium is gone, but there are still companies out here who are giving you money to pay your rent.
Yep.
All you have to
Yep.
do is sign up. They will pay 3 months of your rent, up to $1,500, and your utility. But they ain't gonna come to you. They ain't gonna knock on my door and say, "Hey, Rochelle, I think you need some money." We have got to get the information out to everybody, because a lot of other folks got this information. I don't know how it's missing us. You hear me
Right.
say that?
So
Okay.
let me piggyback on my question, and you can still go along with what we're doing.
Sure.
So I said something about the pandemic. Now, what about these people that's getting these PPP loans? Will they fall into a collection state? Because
No.
some of these they say are not. You, if I'm not mistaken, they're not payable, so you don't necessarily pay it back. But
You. That,
some, depending on what type of loan you get, this is a payable loan that you have to get back. And if
mhm.
something else happened, or if the economy doesn't change and they continue to fall in the what we call the black, then how do the collection agency work within that method?
Okay. how they're going to collect on these PPPs and EIDL loans is going to be separate from just normal collections. And the reason it's going to be separate is because it's a government loan.
Okay.
And so I am cautioning people. A lot of the PPP loans was a grant instead of a loan, and they said, okay, you don't have to pay it back. They have another one coming out that's active right now till the end of May, and they're saying you may not have to pay it back. The EIDL loan you have to
Mhm.
pay back, and some you don't. It depends on how you
Yeah.
got into the program.
Right.
What I'm cautioning people about is that I think when the water settles, they're gonna ask us to verify if we could legitimately have that loan. I really believe that
Really?
because they're meant for any type of business. If you have any kind of, you got an EIN number, or you got a small business, you got a big business, and you later better be able to prove that.
Wow.
Because I
Yeah,
have
they
business
I seen it where some lady, she had applied for the PPP loan by 8 times and she got like 650 some thousand dollars, and it was pretty much fraud.
There's
So
this
Wow.
now
one
they
lady
so now
that has
they
$1 million.
investigating her.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Wow.
they investigating her right now.
Wow.
Mhm.
And so they know. I got my business started through the SBA, and so I talk to my counselor coach all the time, and he goes, they got so much money, and they sent it out to people so quick with the first PPP till they know they got some people that. And he goes, Rochelle, let me tell you something. They're gonna do background checks on all this money when it just settles down.
Oh yeah, most
And I'm
definitely. I
like,
think they gotta make sure they're gonna have to prove if you got had a business, or even if you even carry your business on your taxes and stuff.
Are you carrying a
Yeah.
business on your taxes? And that's
Yep.
gonna be the key. That's gonna be the one thing that says, hey, now if you do and you got a small business, hey, get that money. Do what you have to do to get whatever they'll give you to help you sustain your company. I applied for the EIDL and the PPP and gonna apply again for this next one. So do what you have to do because there is buku money out here, and like uh, airlines and all the American Airlines, they are getting millions and millions and millions of dollars. And these
Hmm.
small bakeries and all these other folks, they're getting money, guys. So if
Wow.
you have a business, do what you have to do to make yourself whole and carry you through this. But
Okay.
like you said, Greg, if you don't have it, and especially during this COVID, they will work with you. Your car company will work with you. They will put two, three payments if they have to on the arrears. Your credit cards will let you skip a pay. So if you call and say, I still don't have a job, my unemployment hasn't started yet, I owe you for May, it's May 3rd, I was due on the 1st, they may very well tell you you can skip May and June because that gives you
Hmm.
a big relief. And especially if they let you put your mortgage or your apartment on the rears. Now, the one thing that you have to be cautious with the apartments, they will let you skip payments, but you need to get the grants. You need to get the money where they're going to pay your rent. Because if they're
Hmm.
just letting you skip the payment, at the end of the day, they're going to ask you to make arrangements to bring up those two or three payments. And it's
Oh,
come up with 1,500, 14, $1,700 rent that you skipped for 3 months. So you want to go to any organization, and Greg, I'll send you a sheet that has a list of who you can go to get help with your rental assistance.
Yes,
The
please do.
I want to tell you, you can call 211, tell
Mm-hmm.
them where you live, and they'll tell you what organizations will help you pay your rent. That's the easiest. But
Hmm.
Tarrant County has one, Denton County, Dallas County, um, Catholic Charities is really big, and they'll send you to people because not only will they pay your rent, say you can pay your rent, but it's tight on the utilities. They have money to just pay your water, your lights, your gas, like that. But we don't know what's out there, and they have poured in tons of money into every community to help sustain the community. But we've got to
Hmm.
get the word out. And yeah, do you have to fill out some paperwork and all of that? Yeah, but it's worth it if you're going to pay my rent for 3 months.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I
Huh.
agree. And yes,
I got
please
it
send me that
easy.
list. I'll upload it on our pages.
Exactly. Exactly. So I will definitely get that to you. So some other things that they can't do. Let me see. Let's talk about the fact that they can only go after you for so long. I think I talked about this before, but we have a statute of limitations in Texas that they can only go after you legally, guys, for 4 years.
Mm.
After 4 years, they can call you every day, call your mama, your brother, your sister, but they can't touch you legally, which means that they can't go after your bank accounts. They can't try to garnish you or anything like that. Now, the stipulation in Texas is that you can't be garnered in Texas anyway. The only people that can garnish you in Texas is the government.
Mm.
But say you're listening and you're in Louisiana or you're in Oklahoma, your wages can be garnished for that credit card. But after 4 years in Texas, legally they can't touch you. The only thing I caution you about is that if they call you
Mm-hmm.
and they say, Rochelle, I'm calling about this visa, you owe $400. How are you going to pay us? I can't pay you. I'll pay you in 2 months when I start this job. I have acknowledged the debt and that can re-trigger the statute of limitations.
So it starts it
Mm.
over.
That's important for you to know.
Mm.
Wow.
You
Okay.
got that? So
But
if
okay,
Yeah.
but how are you? And I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you, but I want to ask you a question about that. So, I mean, I guess you yourself need to you would need to keep up that it is like it's going 4 years since you've been dealing with this.
mhm,
Because when they call, they ask, is this, they say, if I'm speaking, am I speaking to Gregory? Yes.
mhm,
Your date of birth, your phone number, stuff like that. Um, so is there a certain way that we should, and I'm not recommending anybody do this, but if you
right,
are doing it, is there a certain way that we should answer or something we should respond so
uh-huh,
it's not regenerated, or
absolutely.
that countdown's not started over?
Exactly. Yes, it is. Okay.
Yes, sir.
First of all, you should already, if you're taking care of your business and your mental health concerning your finances, you should
Hmm.
know in your head, these ain't gonna get paid, these are. I ain't
Right.
never gonna pay these. These I'm gonna take care of. So when they call, you already have in your head, you're not getting any money. So if you're not getting any money, you're not getting a conversation. Got me?
Got
So
you.
so when they call you and they say, is Rochelle there speaking? This is JC Penney's. Um, it's me. This is Rochelle, but I need you to send me something in writing. I'm not sure who you are. A lot of fraud is going on.
Yep.
I don't recall anything with JC Penney, so send me something in writing. Do
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
admit the debt.
Okay.
Now, if you know you want to pay them and you're gonna pay them, then you got to have a conversation. And
Yes,
I
ma'am.
am big with at the end of the day, you can validate debts, and if they can't validate it, they have to take it off. That works sometimes.
Right.
Or I'm big with settlements. So then you talk about a 25% settlement, go all the way up to 50, but you want to pay for removal. But if you go down that road, then it could trigger the statute of limitations, but that's okay because I plan to pay you anyway.
Mm.
So
Okay.
one of the things you've got to know as you look at your finances, guys, you got to list everything. Pull your credit report. Credit reports are given to us free every week. You can pull your credit report every week because of COVID for the entire year of 2020 and the entire year of 2021. Every week. So pull your credit report and then make a list of your debts. If they're old, if they're 5, 6, 7 years old, you can call me. I can talk to you about some coaching opportunity. But if it's old, don't pay it because it's about to fall off. Because it's gonna fall off in 7 years if it's not a government debt. So the older it is, the less impact it has on your credit. But you got to
Mm.
know, you got to have all that ready in your head for when people call you because you want that to be the first and only call. You want to
Right.
talk to people to get that resolved. I'm tired of talking to you. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like my friend, I should start talking about how's your kids, right? And in order to do that, you have got to have your ammunition ready because they're going to have theirs ready. All right. Any questions on that?
No,
No.
no,
Hmm.
no. Now that
So
I know, that's
Yes.
good information.
amen. Don't
Hmm.
forget that the government loans will stay on there 10 years. So if you file bankruptcy, it's going to be there 10 years. I was coaching a young lady, pulled her credit report. It said that she filed bankruptcy 16 years ago. That should be off. And
Yeah.
that's
Mm.
older than 10 years, please remove. You can do that. You don't have to pay anybody. I don't want to name companies, but you don't have to pay anybody so much every month to tell you remove this from my credit report. You
Yeah.
can do that yourself. Okay?
Yes,
All you
ma'am.
gotta do is write them. All you gotta do, well, they won't take a phone call, but if you write them, that can be off in a week. So that's gonna be on 10 years. Student loans can stay on forever. But listen, call on the student loan and say, this is how much I owe. I'm tired of owing you. What programs do you have? Because when you hear the commercials that say, call us today, we can help you with your bankruptcy. We can help you with your taxes. We can help you with your student loan. Yeah, they can help you, but you can do it yourself. They don't give you
Mm.
Mm.
one. All you have to do is call. All you have to do is call and tell them what you want. Tell them your situation and ask them a program. I absolutely, and I use it because it's some personal people in my life who owed on taxes and a student loan. They owed
Right.
on a son going to a university in New York, did not have the money, got sick, can't pay it, and they squashed both of those debts. Now
Oh
I'm gonna tell
wow.
you what they did. They said we will put a stay on your loans, which means you don't have to pay them, but we will send you a bill every year. And I think they got a bill maybe every quarter that says this is how much your student loan, this is how much you owe in taxes, balance due zero. Now let
Right.
me tell you why they did that.
Okay.
They did that because if you ever got a windfall, they were going to get their money. So if you
Mm.
ever hit the lottery for $1 million, or you go to the casino and you know how they have to get the taxes and all that, they're
Right.
going to put that money on your debt. But if you can't pay it, honey, you can't pay it. So you
Right.
might as well talk to them. And sure enough, they never paid that debt. They never, hit the lottery for $1 million or hit at the casino for, I don't know, whatever you hit for. They never got a windfall where the government would know how much you got, so we're going to get our money out. And that's why they don't totally zero it out. Because at the
Oh
end of the
wow.
day, if you get the money, they're going to want their money. But if you just live in life and you never have the ability to pay this $80,000 back, they will
Hmm.
just send you a bill. They got a lot of paper every 3 months or whatever. It'll say the amount, it'll say balance zero, and now you have peace. Because if you owe for taxes, if you owe for student loans, right now you're okay because they have a stay. But when it goes back live, they can garnish you at any minute.
Woo.
Wow.
Minute. I know too
I'm
many
glad I
people.
pay. I'm glad I paid mine.
Huh? What you say?
I glad. I'm glad I paid my taxes. I owe the IRS. I went on and paid them something.
They will garnish you. And I tell people all the time, and I've done it for clients. Call and make arrangements even then. If they garnish
Yeah.
your wages, ask them, can you pay voluntarily? And they will let you do it in most cases. And why? Because they control all the action. They know you're
Yep.
still going to work. And if you stop paying me, I will garnish you again. So don't
Hmm.
be afraid to call them. Don't be afraid to make arrangements because there's nothing worse in the world than you working 40 hours and you pick up your check and 35% is missing because of a garnish.
Oh, we're gonna have a
Yes.
whole problem. A whole problem. A
That's
whole
like
Okay,
problem.
child support.
a giant. That's exactly it. So,
So
so that's some of the things that you can do. And then when you're talking to them, I coach people on talking about their finances. Number one, settle down. Don't take it personal. Don't cuss them out. Don't get loud. Don't add fire to fire. So if they're, disrespecting you, and that's really
mhm.
how the fight comes because you're talking to a
Right.
bill collector and you feel like they're talking to you disrespectfully,
Hmm.
and so now you got to let them know where you stand and put them in their place. And quite often it will simmer down if you put them in their place by saying, hold up, talk to me like an adult with respect, and I'll talk to you. I have no problem talking to you, but lower your voice when you're talking to me.
Right.
And they will 9 times out of 10 simmer down. Then if they don't, we're going to pretend like we got one of them old fashioned phones, right, and go
Pick
back
up.
to New York
All
and
right, click, click,
click
click.
Absolutely.
and I'm not going to let you bother my mind about it later on that day. Because what happens is, and especially when it's something sensitive like our money, nobody, I just firmly believe this. 9 times out of 10, nobody wants to owe you. Nobody wants somebody calling them about a bill. So it
Sure.
bothers us when somebody calls and it gets out of hand. So you have got to control your own scenario. You've got to control what's going to happen in that conversation because at the end of the day, what can they really do? They can't do anything.
Mm.
And especially in Texas, and it's a some credit card. But let me put a caveat on that. Let me bookmark. The only thing that a person can do to you in Texas is try to put a lien on your bank account.
Okay.
They cannot garnish
Okay.
your wages, but they can try to put a lien on your bank account. And I'm going to tell you how quick this is. If
Mm-hmm.
I get a judgment, and when I say I go back to bill collecting. If I get a judgment on you and I send this judgment to your bank, they will freeze your account. But I can determine when I want to put the judgment. And here's a good example.
Oh
In
wow.
Michigan, when I used to be a collector in Michigan, the people with Chryslers and Ford and all them, they get bonuses. They
Mm-hmm.
get nice bonuses, $10,000, $12,000. And we would not put a lien on their bank account until they were getting their bonus.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Oh, that's cold.
That's called
That's
because
cold.
if they put it on
That's
too
cool right
early,
there.
you're gonna close the account and open another
Mm.
account someplace else. So now I gotta find you. So now I'm gonna just not do anything, and then when bonuses hit and we know when, we're gonna put a
Yeah.
lien on your account. And when you put your 10 in, if you owe us more than 10, we have your entire 10.
Oh,
Mm.
wow.
Now you know that
Oh, oh, they cutthroat.
that
Ooh,
is
I
that.
would.
And so how do you avoid that? You talk to them. You know, you make arrangements. You don't ever let it get that far. If somebody serves you guys, and the judgment order is going to say, this is a order for a judgment. Your court date is, if this is May 30, it could be like July 5th. Please
Mm-hmm.
court da 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 at 10 o'clock.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It will say or call. If you call and try to make voluntary arrangements, they will dismiss the court date
Uh,
because it costs to take anybody to court.
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
Say I was served, I owe you, I had lost my job, I still don't have any money, I can pay you X. Keep those
Right.
arrangements, you'll never have to go to court. But if you ignore that judgment order,
Hmm.
what they do is have an attorney go there with a stack of orders, and then they just go to the clerk and look at the names. Is Rochelle here? Is Jack here? Is John here? No, 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 no. It's stamped voluntary judgment, and now they have a judgment on you. But if you
Mm.
court,
Wow.
yes, you have the right to have your due time in court, and if you're there, they have to stay there. Now let me give you an example of that. And my baby sister has allowed me to blow her life up and tell the truth. My
Okay.
sister owed an electric bill in Florida, and she owed something crazy like $3,000.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
they
okay.
they told her they served her in a she's a nurse at a children's hospital in the room. They served her the papers. And
What?
so she called me. She said, "What should I say?" I said, "Go to court." She said, "Go to court, go to court." So she goes to court. It's packed, and a guy stands up and says, "Is she here?" Said her name out. She goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Step outside." And he goes, "What's the deal on this? Do you owe this?" She goes, "Yeah." He goes, "What happened?" She goes, "I don't know. I was out of my mind. I came here to tell them I could pay them, I don't know, $50 a month or whatever." So he just stands there and looks at her. And so she looks at him, he looks at her. She goes, "I don't know what to say." So he goes, "Forget this. Sign here. I'm throwing it out. I don't have time to wait here." And he threw it out.
Wow.
They have money, guys. They have money. They
Wow.
have time to be sitting waiting on you so you can tell the judge I got $50. So go
Yeah.
and plead your case if you missed the phone call. But first, make the phone call and tell them you want to pay voluntarily. Now, I tell this story because I missed something. I missed not telling her something. I should
Mhm.
have told her to ask him to remove it from her credit report because on
Right.
her credit report it says judgment closed.
Hmm.
Because once they get
Okay.
a judgment on you, they can put the judgment order on your credit report. And on her credit report, it says judgment closed. So if somebody's
Gotcha.
looking for you for credit, they see that you did get in trouble. Whereas,
Hmm.
can you please remove it, eradicate the judgment? He didn't care, and he would have done that. So anytime you're trying to make arrangements, and especially on old paper, where it's in collections or it's in charge off or it's 90 days past due, ask them, will they remove it? You want to pay for removal. If you're trying to get a house, you want a courtesy removal because you
Okay.
want to appear as if it never occurred. And quite often
Courtesy.
they will do that. Any questions?
My question is based upon, well, go back to what you said. So, well, when it goes to the student loans, these individuals who saying that we have this program where your student loans can be forgiven, is that a very true statement? And then the second part of that, of the question you were speaking on, how does what you said work if you have a divorced spouse?
Okay.
Mm.
First one is that yeah, that program works where they can just remove your student loans. I had a lady on the phone a couple days ago and they took off $157,000 of student
Ooh.
loan debt. And she was
Oh,
relentless about I don't have it. She lost her job, now on government assistance, da 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 da. And then they eventually, after 2, 3 months, said, we're marking it zero. And they sent her a letter that says your balance is now zero.
Oh
Wow.
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 That's
Relentless.
Huh.
crazy.
What program do you have? And then they say, well, let us check and you don't call back. You have got to be
Mm.
relentless because if you don't have it, you don't have it. Okay.
Right.
And they can't make you have it. They can't make you have it. The
Mm.
government can't even go in your retirement plans, or they can't ask how much do you have in a 401 or any of that. If you don't have that kind of money right now that you're making or in a regular bank account, they can't do anything to you. But you've got to prove that. So yes, that does work, but you got to be relentless in your efforts. So when people commercials say, "Hey, we can call help, we can help you with that," they are the people who's going to be relentless for you. So if you want to pay
Right.
somebody to do that, okay, but you can do it yourself and you can save that money. Okay,
Okay.
with the divorce, and I have said this so many times in my career in the last 30 years. Our contract supersedes your divorce decree. What does that mean? If you and your husband owe me money and you
Hmm.
get a divorce, you are both still responsible. I don't care what the court said. If the
Mm.
court said you were supposed to pay, if you don't pay it, she has got to pay it. And I've had a lot of cussings out because my husband or my wife was sanctioned to pay that in the divorce papers. We don't care. And when I say we, I really go back, okay?
I got
You
you.
are
Mhm.
responsible for that debt. So you have got to be clear on who you are marrying because they can get you jacked up. Because if it's a common law state, both of you, common law, that's not the word I need. But if both
Right.
of you are responsible, you're going to be responsible for that contract until it's paid off. And I
Wow.
Okay.
can't tell you how many husbands or wives have paid off the debt only because they're tired of the bill collector calling, even though their wife was supposed to pay. That's
Mm.
very important.
So would
Very.
that
So
still
what
be
about
true? Oh, go ahead. See, go ahead.
so what about like medical bills and stuff when they be just start sending you letters for medical bills?
Mhm.
You don't have the money to pay them.
That's a very good question, and I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people don't know this. The law changed about 2 or 3 years ago that if you went on an emergency truck right now, you fell out and they took you to the hospital and it cost $400. And
Mm.
9 times out of 10, our insurance doesn't cover it, right? They
Mm-hmm.
Right.
can't even put that on your credit report until it's 6 months old. First of all, you need to know that, and people don't know that. So if you had a bill right now and it's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, they're calling you, they can't touch your credit report until it's 6 months old because the law
Oh
changed
wow.
your opportunity to get it under control.
Hmm.
Number one. Number two,
Yep.
even if after 6 months you start paying it, once you pay it, the law indicates they have to take it off of your credit. It's,
Gotcha.
Mm.
a lot of people don't know that. So, say you got medical bills and it took you forever to pay it and it's 2 years old, soon as you finish paying it, they have to remove it. Number three, medical has the least amount of impact on your credit, which means that in terms of the heaviness to your credit score, it's mortgages, it's the government, it's major credit cards, minor credit cards, auto, but medical bills has the least impact. So if you want to really build your credit score, clean up those other ones first.
Before you get to
And they're
that.
the easiest to settle because there's legislation has been in the federal government legislation to take medical bills totally off our credit report, guys. That's going to be
Hmm.
great because a lot of the debt on credit reports is medical bills, and they have had
Mm-hmm.
legislation now for like I'm thinking maybe about 3 years. It's been in the federal courts to totally take credit report medical bills off of our credit. So at least they did something to say, hey, it can't hit for 6 months. After you pay it, they have to take it off. And
Right.
there's
Right.
nothing now for pennies on a dollar. And so just call and make arrangements if you have to. But if it's 5 years old, 6 years old, I probably wouldn't touch it because it doesn't
Hmm.
wait.
Okay.
Okay. It was something else I wanted to tell you guys about that.
Eh,
Oh,
Okay.
another law that people don't know. If you am I out of time too? Do I have a minute?
Do you have
Okay.
what?
I said, do I have time?
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
got time. Yeah, yeah, you got it. You got it. Trust me,
Um,
I got you.
okay, okay. If you have a credit card and your interest rate is 15%, and because of COVID or whatever, they send you a note and said, hey, we reviewed your credit because of some delinquency. We have increased your interest rate to 20%. Happens all the time.
Hmm.
Right.
Number one, it cannot go to 20% unless you use that credit card after the notice. So if Visa sends you a letter and says your interest rate is now 20%, it will be 20% on anything henceforth. Here's the catch to keep it 15. Don't use it. You can't use it
Gotcha.
now because it's going to be 20%. But
Right.
if you pay that credit card 6 months in a row on time, they have to bring it back down to 15. And I know
Okay.
everybody talk about that.
Mm.
Mm.
You need to know that. They have to bring your interest rate back down to the original amount if you pay them 6 months in a row on time.
Oh
So
wow.
if you know anybody says, man, I just got a letter saying they're increasing my interest rate. Yeah, they can, but by law they have to take it back down if you show them payment demonstration. And the
Okay.
average interest rate used to be 15.5%, and now it has went up to 17.5. And that tells me that our credit scores are worsening because the
Mm.
interest
Yeah.
rate made Visa, MasterCard, all of that, they're getting worse.
Right.
Okay? So don't forget, I mentioned it the last time, but always use the 5 P's of power. You got to be patient, polite, pitiful, persistent, and prayerful. So what do I mean by pitiful? You got to be okay with putting your cards on the table. You got to be okay
Mm-hmm.
with, man, I don't have it. You know,
Right.
man to man, if you're a man talking to a man bill collector, man, you know how it is. You got to feed your family. You got to da 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 da. Man, I don't have it. What do you have? What programs does your company have? I want to
Right.
pay you. It bothers me that I owe you. So
Yeah.
you got to put it on the table. You got to be specific about what you need, and we got to calm down. Because if everybody's screaming, or if you're screaming and you're not going to get anywhere. So talk to them. Can't kill you, can't beat you, can't eat you. Now, if you're talking to buttholes who just feel, they're talking to you with disrespect, they're not treating you the way you need to be treated. They have problems too. When you're talking to
Right.
bill collectors that are tripping out, it's because they have a problem and now they're taking it out on you. I
Right.
tell the story all the time about a guy who came to my office and said, Rochelle, I got to leave that repo in my car. And I'm like, Pumpkin, I pay you to repo cars. He goes, look, I'm looking out the window watching them repo my car. I got to go. Issues also, you got to peel back the onion and go, okay, what is it really about? Okay? Because it sounds like it's not about the bill I owe. It's about something in your life. So I just
Mm-hmm.
tell him, right? And
Right.
There
so
you go.
if you and I'll send this out to you, Greg, too, if you want to post later.
Yes, ma'am.
If you are harassed, you can send a letter to the Attorney General's office. You can send a letter to the Federal Trade Commission. The Federal Trade Commission, I think, is the one that if you can prove that, you told somebody not to call you and you sent them a letter and you have proof of the letter and
Right.
they called me this many more times, and it's real easy to do that because your phone will show you how many times they called you.
Right.
Right.
You get $1,000 just straight away, just $1,000 that
Man.
they give you because you were harassed. And that's the Federal Trade Commission. You can call the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau for harassment issues, and the Federal Trade Commission. All of those you can contact. And if you
Okay.
have a company that's like that, we need to contact them because we need to get them under control. Because if they're talking to you like that, they're talking to hundreds of other people like that also.
Sure.
Most
Of course.
definitely.
Right. And we have got to do something about it. And that's how you do something. That's how you make sure that your voice is heard and all that. While we're talking about collections, there is a massive move in fraud collections and
Mm.
fraud interviewing. There
Okay.
are people calling to say, "Are you interested in a job?" and pretending like they're a company and they're not. So be
Yeah.
careful
Mm.
of that. There are people calling and said, "You owe on your credit card. We're calling to update your information. Can you pay us?" And they're not. So be very careful with giving out your information because if I owe you, you should already have my social security number. What are you talking about?
Indeed.
They
Okay.
tried to do that to my mom with one of her credit cards, talking about we can give her a low interest rate. I said, where they calling from? Why they asking you for your card number? They should have the information in the system.
That's exactly it. And it is so important that we tell our younger people and we tell our elderly because they really focus on elderly. I on my Majestic Money Management Facebook, I put an article out on a guy who went undercover for people who call elderly people and say your computer's broke. Those people.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
he was able to get into their computer and see their faces and all that. And it is a collection shop in Dubai, lines and lines of them calling people over and over. And this lady told them that she was blind and that she had something
No.
with the keyboard,
She
and they
was
sold
blind.
1,500. So they're out cold. And so we have got
Wow.
to really understand, our rights and whatever preventive measures are. Now, um, I wanted to talk about something that didn't have anything to do with protection, but it's coming so quickly. Please be prepared for the child credit care stuff that's coming in July.
Okay.
Oh
Um,
man, that's
that's going to be
woo.
big. That is $3,600 if you have a child under 7.
Mm-hmm.
You get $3,600, and if you have a child 7 to 17, you get $3,000. You will get half every month till December, and you'll get the other
Wow.
income tax time. So people who have like 4 or 5 kids, they are getting about $300 a kid every month.
Mm.
Wow.
That's some money. I'm trying to figure out how me and E can have fat.
Look, do you
Man, look,
understand?
look, I'm thinking right now, Charles, who can I get pregnant today?
And
Can I
and
use my dog?
okay, Greg, let me tell you something. If you are pregnant, they're gonna give it to you. If
Oh
you are
wow.
pregnant and you're due to have your child by the end of the year, they're gonna give you the money.
Wow.
What?
Yes, yes, they are. And so with that, I am really wanting people to be very prayerful in your planning because you did not have this money. This has got to be an asset to you. So please, no red bottoms. No,
Please.
please.
She
This
said
is your
no red
opportunity
bottoms.
to get a
They can't,
little,
they
It's
can't,
somebody,
Absolutely.
they're gonna buy a
they,
car.
they say it's for
They're
the
gonna buy.
kids.
not even a car. And listen to this, the average interest rate, I don't know if I talked about it one of the weeks, guys. The average interest rate on a car is 4.5%. So if you're talking about going to get a car and you don't even ask the interest rate, you don't know what you're paying for the car. I think we did talk about that. So no,
Right.
no cars.
Yes, ma'am.
Fix your credit and pay cash if you have to have a car. But if your car's running, you don't need a car. You don't need a new cell phone. None of that.
Mm,
So
Them
we
iPhone 12 came out.
Watch your mouth.
right.
well, even the new commercial, have you seen it? They don't show anything about quality. They're showing how pretty purple it is. Have you seen that new commercial?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I said,
That's
so
what they
this is
always do with
just
the
for you.
iPhone.
It's
Yep.
pretty. That's all it's about. It's pretty.
So,
And
Yep.
so
so,
they're hitting us, so we have to be ready.
so
Yes,
I want
ma'am.
to go back to something you said when you was talking about spouses. So, talk about. Well, I guess I'm wondering, what if you have, say, if you have a spouse that passes away, and within that with that going on, come to realize they have a lot of collections. Are you still? Does that contract still supersede the passing of that person? And does
If
that still pass down to me?
if your name is not on it, you are not responsible.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The
Okay.
only time we talk about the contract supersedes your divorce decree, both of you are on it, but the judge ordered that you pay it. So if the
Okay.
judge orders that I pay it and I don't pay it, they're going to go after my husband
Okay.
because
Oh
it's
wow.
on the
Okay.
contract. But please, people, please know this. I don't care what they say to you when they call. If your husband or wife dies and you are not on that contract, you are not responsible. You better try
Mm.
to reach him in heaven. Talk to Peter. I ain't paying nothing.
Auntie, don't
Okay?
do them like that,
Uh,
Auntie.
you better try to reach him up there. Do not pay it. And sometimes they will make you think that you're responsible for it. You are not responsible for that debt, and he is gone. And so, when you marry somebody, don't join on that credit card. Don't you can be a additional signer, but do not be a co-signer. Do not join your name because now you are responsible.
Mm.
So if you want to
Okay.
do something and you want to be smart, then and you want to make sure you can use the card. If I remarry, then I'm just going to be an additional signer on that card. I'm not going to join on his card because now that makes me responsible. Additional signer means that I can use it, it's going to help my credit report, but if something happens, I am not responsible. And so that's the
Additional.
kind of thinking we got to think when we marry these folks now.
So that's why you say don't co-sign for no cars.
Do not. Dumbest thing we
Okay.
could ever do. I love you, but Pumpkin, I am not putting my name on anything. Always remember, a person who destroyed their own credit will
Yes,
definitely
ma'am.
Listen.
also.
Yes, ma'am. Because we don't have no sympathy for anybody else's credit.
That's
So,
exactly it.
speaking from your background, so this is the hashtag we're using for the Juneteenth celebration. We're using hashtag Your Black Role Matters. So it may be totally off subject, but I want you to speak to it from a financial, and then speak of it from a transparent view, because some people think our finances don't matter, or some people come to realize, or even with the stuff that you're saying, we'll probably, the collection person probably call tomorrow and we'll do exactly the opposite, or some of the stuff that you even given us today we don't even know anything about. And that's why I'm always happy to have you on. One, I like learning. Two, I think this is information that even I can say, my brother or even KC parents didn't even know. So it's like, you're willing to pass on the
Oh,
information. So that's why I thank you and love you so much for that. But
Thank
I mean, when you hear the hashtag, or if I throw it out there, Your Black Role Matters, where does that come from? Speak to that from a financial point of view and from a transparent point of view, if you can.
you. Okay. Okay. The first thing I think we have to dispel the myth that it can't be fixed.
Okay.
There is always hope. And the beauty of collections is that it's fluid. It changes every day. So I don't care how bad you are. If you're listening to this later, I don't care if your score is 350 and it's been 350 for the last 26 years. You can make some changes to improve your credit, which will improve everything about your life. You want to be able to have the strength to go into a bank and they don't know who you are. All they know is your number, and your number will get you stuff. You and I told you guys this before. I was at Wells Fargo and I went to open up an account. They pulled my information and sat down and said, "Do you want a business loan?" I never asked them for that. I never asked them for that because your number will matter with your Black life. You just think that you can't change it, and you can. But to change it, we've got to make some changes. I put something on Facebook today. A guy said, Lord, as you improve my money, improve my knowledge of how to handle it.
Mm.
So you like to learn. We've got to learn how to manage our money. We can do better, and we've got to get out of this hole that I'm only the only trip I want to go on is from the south side of Dallas to the north side. There's a big world out here. And we've got to introduce ourselves to it. We are limiting ourselves, and we can do better. And how do we do it? And we will matter once our money matters. Because here's the deal. I had an idea. If they said that guy was innocent, that police guy,
Yes, ma'am.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
said, here's what we should do. Listen to this. Shut it down. Don't spend a dime, because we are the biggest spenders out here in the economy. We
That's
buy
true.
more TVs, we buy more telephones, we play more Super Nintendo, we buy more clothes. Shut it all down. Shut the economy down. Why am I always in a Chinese place and they don't like me, and now they're talking about them? Shut it down. And that's how we matter. We don't even know how strong our dollar is. When they came out with that black bank, when all this happened, Black Lives Matter, they opened up a bank. I can't remember who was. Anyway, I tried to get an account. They're too full. They can't handle the volume of black people that tried to get an account with that bank.
Well,
They
That's
can't
crazy.
handle the volume. So that tells you that we got some money, and it's a lot of us. So even if we just take $100, all of us, and put it in a black bank, this bank will be very, very fruitful. And then if we get our numbers right, then we borrow from that bank, and we make that bank make money, and they make us make money. And that's why we've got to realize that, yes, babe, you matter. And I don't care how low it is right now, you can be better. And I think I know that the Lord had me quit to tell people you can do better than what you're doing. And quite often we just don't do it because we don't think we can. I liken it to a diet. I'm on this diet and I think I'm doing well, and forget it, I blew it, so I might as well go eat a 4 piece. That's how we are with our finances. Forget it. I'm broke. I might as well just go and blow the rest. Punky, put the 4 piece down. No, Punky, put the money in the bank. And
Yes,
that's what
ma'am.
we've got to do. And we've got to make all of our people believe it. Black Lives Matter. Your black role matters. I'm going to try to figure out an acronym for the roles and roles concerning money.
Yes, ma'am. I
Mm.
We're an
appreciate that.
asset. We
Bring
are
that
an
with you to the
asset.
Juneteenth celebration.
Okay? That's exactly it. And we are an asset, and we've got to believe what we are. We're already there. We just don't believe it.
Yeah.
Right. Some of us do need that and that extra push. And it's quite funny. So I had a young lady call me that I knew a long time ago. It was Melissa, bro. Uh,
Okay.
she asked me, talking about, well, as a man, how do you stay motivated and disciplined? And I said, well, being very transparent and blunt, there are times, and my brother can attest or he can correct me. There are times we're not always disciplined as you say we are.
Mhm.
Um,
Now.
the motivation factor is, I believe the motivation for me is, and I use the analogy of in the Bible when as Moses was walking around and people around that same tree. When do you get tired of walking around that tree?
Amen.
You have to stop. You have to get to a point where, look, I done seen this tree 6, 7 times. I'm tired. I'm tired of walking in circles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna turn around or I'm gonna stand here and try to figure this out and find an alternative route to what we're going through. I used to be bad with money, and my mother can attest to that. I get it, it's gone, it's blown.
Me too.
However, and she's blessed me in some ways. And if I knew what I knew now while I was in college, it would be totally different. I'm pretty sure if she had your tutelage when she was growing up, it would be different. A whole lot of us would be different. It just what frustrates me sometimes is that not you, but there are people in this world who's sitting on knowledge, but you're so scared to
Oh
give it
my
away
God.
because you think we're gonna take it and do something better with it.
I know.
You can't take it with you, bro.
Mhm.
Me and my brother DJ, that's like our own personal business. I do some other stuff as well. I
Mhm.
can't take it with me, so let me teach you. So
Yes.
so so the culture can keep moving forward. That's
Right.
how one of my black roles matter. by
Right.
teaching the next. But some of us are just so
Exactly.
afraid to do that because you don't want to either give over the power or you don't want to solidify the power. And I think we as Black people do that to each other too much
all the time.
because you got you got our other Caucasian brothers and sisters. They not holding that back.
Mhm.
Sure.
They're including you in the wealth. So yeah, you know I appreciate you. I love you,
And
Auntie,
so
and
the,
I
the
thank you for
5
what
or
you do.
6 of us that are doing it, we have just got to be louder in what we do.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
we got to be louder. 2 people called me, the coach said, "How much do you charge?" I told them, and they go, "That's it." I go, "Let me tell you something. The Lord told me a long time ago, you will not get rich from this here. You
Mm,
will not get rich from this here." And
yes,
so I
ma'am.
know that He wants us to know. And if you can't afford $1,500 from your coach, I'm not going to charge you that because I want you to know, and I want you to teach your family. And
Yes, ma'am.
that's how our roles will matter. Because look, we know how to talk. We know how to get a group together, get some barbecue and some bid whist. We have a whole group of people. So why don't we
Yeah.
get
Amen.
together and learn some stuff also? And that's
Yeah.
what we gotta do. And I think it's this bad right now because it's gonna get better. And even
Yes, ma'am.
the Juneteenth thing will help with that. Getting us educated, getting us inspired.
Right.
Yeah.
And getting people like you in front of other people so
Yes,
they'll know.
yes.
Well,
Um,
Miss Rochelle Glover, of course, this is our auntie. She's your financial nanny. Before we get out of here, I need her to give all her information because you're going to need this in the next coming months on how to run your money just with this kid credit. I'm going to try to figure that part out myself.
okay,
Listen,
okay.
quick,
But
fast,
yes,
and
ma'am.
hurry.
But if you could tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, how you can be their coach, how just how it all the information, the classes that you teach. I know you have a class that you teach. Hold on, because I seen it. It's on my computer. Uh,
Yeah,
you
well,
have so
that's
you
as
have the
far as
financial nanny. The financial
yeah,
nanny you don't have to
financial
do this
literacy
alone.
month.
Uh-huh. And then you actually have the actual classes that you teach that I can't bring up the whole thing, but I know you do it every month. So you can speak to that. That's about as big as I can get it. But she has an
That's okay.
educational, a financial monthly class that she do, educational engagement and fellowship. So if you can speak towards your workshop and then give out all
Sure.
your credentials.
Okay, sounds great. First of all, last month was financial literacy month, so I was having classes every Tuesday and Thursday. I'm going to continue those once a month, and I'm just trying to figure out what will be a good day, probably in the evening. But if you have just a quick question, a down and dirty class question you want to ask me, you can definitely call me at 962-863-1877, and I'll talk to you about a time slot if it's going to be more than one question, and I am open to giving 30-minute coachings, which have been beneficial to a lot of people. So just call me. Also, I coach people in 6-month increments. I have Your Financial Nanny University, where all of my sessions are already pre-recorded, and you get a
Okay.
booklet and you can go through it at your leisure. The beauty of that class is that you and your whole family can go through it. So I have couples that go through it. I have a lady and her kids are going through it with her and items like that. But if you have any questions, definitely give me a call because I am here to help set the captives free. We need to be free.
Yes, ma'am. And we definitely appreciate you, Miss Glover. You don't ever have to worry about that. So, it's a segment. It's time for the last word. And of course, we're going to start with our beautiful guest, none other than Miss Rochelle Glover.
I said this saying already, but I'm going to say it again so I can read it correctly. A guy on Facebook said, Lord, as you increase my money, increase my knowledge on how to handle my money. Amen. And so ask him, increase my money, but also increase my knowledge.
Yes, ma'am. It says in the Bible, I think it was, I can't think of who prayer was, but it says, Lord, bless me, increase my territory, and keep me from evil.
That's it. Okay. Lord,
Very
See
increase
murder.
good.
my
Well, man, that was a good show. I'm glad we're back on. It's been kind of a little boring a little bit, but glad we're back on something, doing something. But that's nice information. And you said now it's gonna be some more small business loans that they're gonna be giving out.
It's out now. It's out now, and it is it
I heard
ends
about the
May
PPP.
31st, unless they run out. So if you apply now, make sure you
Mhm.
apply now.
With that
So
being
it's the
said, do you
people
have to
to
have an EIN number?
Not necessarily.
Okay, okay,
no. So it's the
And I
PPP and then
say
what
that with
else?
caution, but I know
okay,
some people didn't have an EIN number.
okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, my bad, bro.
And what it's the PPP plan,
The
and what's the other
PPP is the
two?
one that they definitely said last year you didn't have to pay back. And then
Okay.
you have an EIDL loan. So if
Okay,
you
now that's the one you got to pay back.
EIDL loan, yeah, and you have until 2022 to pay that back, but they are
Mhm.
granting some of those. They're calling some and saying, hey, you don't have to pay it, but they haven't said who yet. Like
Oh,
I had
okay.
an EIDL last year, and they told me I have to start paying it back in 2022.
Oh,
Mm,
okay.
But
okay,
I
Okay.
am going to apply for the PPP. So yeah, do it. But
Okay.
it does end May 31st this month.
Okay.
Yeah. Good
cool.
luck.
Cool. Yeah, but that's all I had to say. God bless everybody. Good night. Go ahead, Casey.
Sister
Thank
Steve.
you, sister. That's hilarious.
Hey,
Make me sound like an
ladies.
old church lady.
Hey, ladies.
Um, thank you, Mrs. Glover. Always the information I've written down so much on this paper. I think I turned like 6 times to write all the information. So thank you, because again, a lot of people do not know what they need to look for, what they need to say. We do get combative when they are aggressive. So we need to learn. So I'm definitely grateful for everything. I missed the full 180. I was like, oh my God, where's Monday at? Where's Wednesday at? So I'm glad everybody is on. Who is on? Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Tricky, Legends. Y'all guys, miss y'all. Christina, Bree, hope y'all feel better. And take care, everybody.
And don't forget to catch our Hey Ladies at 11 a.m. on Saturday mornings. Ladies, bring your sippy cup. It's going down. You can even bring your
Hey,
breakfast because
ladies.
her sister is it's like on there eating food in mouth the whole
I
night.
love it.
What up, Steph?
She's gonna hear it in the morning and have
I
something
know,
to say about
I know, I know. I can't wait.
How
Hey
do I
man,
get
look.
on
What
for the Hey Lady? Is
Say
it
that
through?
again.
Mhm.
It's a Zoom link. I can actually make sure it gets sent to you. I
Okay.
normally send it the day before. I normally go on Facebook and post it. Are you on Facebook?
Yeah.
I will look you up
Under
and ask you to be a
Rochelle or
friend.
Majestic. Yeah. Could you
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Absolutely, I will. So you can see it, and I'll make sure I tag you on Friday evenings when I post it, so you can have it. And it is. It's just a good time, ladies. It's a community. You know, we as women half the time are tearing each other down, and I'm over that. I want us to
Amen.
build each other up. We have a lot going on, so I want us to be able to indulge in each other's things. Your
That's
financial, and if you know, you glean from people as we glean from you. So that's what I'm looking. That's why I set it up. And we've
right.
had a good time. We've had a really good
Okay.
time. This
Thank
this Saturday's topic should be pretty interesting.
you.
Oh,
Really?
Lord.
Woo!
and she's
Okay.
getting ready to
I was
possibly in
moving. I'm
July we're
excited.
gonna have she's thinking about having a Hey Ladies what I want to say, Hey Ladies seminar. So maybe you could be one of the individuals there to give out to in one of the
That
breakout
sounds fun.
sessions.
Yeah. So
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
That
looking
sounds
forward
good.
to big things. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
excited.
Yes. Bree has her pop-up shop. It is now open. She has a big grand opening coming along. Of course, you know, Miss Lucky Roy. If you're looking for somebody to give you that counseling need, she has your back. Look, it is good to be back in the house with the fam. We'll be back in the studio Wednesday. The weather just got crazy. I don't put my family in danger for no reason. So we went Zoom. So once again, thank you, Ms. Glover, our auntie, always being here and giving us this information. Of course, thank you
Anytime.
to KC, my brother, Lucky Roy, Bree, and all y'all who said, hey, where y'all at, man? We ain't seen you. Look, we back. We are back and we ready. And Juneteenth is gonna be big. I promise you. We got a lot of other things in store. So back on the saddle, start rolling. You know me, live by 2 mantras. Faith and fear cannot dwell in the same place. And while you're on this side till you get to the other side, remember to always love, live, laugh. And Miss Roy, not Miss Roy, Miss Rochelle, before I leave, my mother just texted me and said she wants you to come to her church and do financial classes. And I'm definitely gonna holler at my pastor as well and see if that's something that we can do.
Yay, love that. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Well, until Wednesday, man, y'all keep it light. We'll be right back here. More music, more radio, bringing you the real convo, the real perspective, none other than on the full 180. Until then, you have a good night.
Bye, guys.
All right.